Hi, welcome to this video so far. I'm thinking about doing something new and different. I think I've just been like focusing on the wrong thing lately, and maybe I should just focus on something else entirely. You know how I just mostly, talk about like, stuff right here, movies and like shows and stuff like that. I really and games too. And it's kind of like I'm still have trying to have like a little grip on things so far, and I starting to see that I'm not really doing a really well job doing that. That's on me. Like I'm gonna be dead honest. I should do better with this type of stuff, but unfortunately, you know, I've kind of been messing up towards this so far. So I just been thinking about like what should I really do to fix this issue, and I've been thinking about like you know maybe changing the channel's name. I see like Bat Killer is like my gamer tag, but like I also think about like maybe a really well like name towards the channel should be something more related towards the content I make specifically. So I kind of been thinking about like titles specifically, like story views or like story content or something specifically about that. And it's still like a work in progress so far. I'm still thinking about it, and also during going through college and stuff like that. Just going through life, in general. Yeah, thinking about like change the channel for that purpose so far. And also like mostly the content I'm thinking about like maybe like start focusing on cinematography, because I know I love like movies and how like the back like behind the scenes and stuff. But then like the whole thing around it is like kind of messy and not really like well put together. And I just been thinking about like what is like my biggest strength towards everything. It's just like it's not like cinematography, because I'm not like 100, like I'm not the best cinematographer. Um, you know, I know how to do like directions and stuff like that. Like a director. But I just been thinking about like hey, I know how to really create a really good story so far, and I've been thinking about like just focusing on the stories that is being told. It's not going to be like a retelling of like what's happening, because honestly you could have played that so far and like play that or watch that so far your own like ways. Like for me, I'm just going to like really just focus on like what could be improved with the story, what could have been the direction of the story, and basically how like it should have gone instead of like how like it went. And like also theories of like what should happen or what possibly happened so far. That's like what I'm thinking about, like focusing on, instead of just like, oh yeah, I really like this part or this or like the cinematography and stuff like that. Well, maybe I talk about a little bit of cinematography because I do like cinematography and stuff like that. But yeah, I think about like focusing on those type of things, because like I think those content will be much more better received and better like watch. Um, and like it's going to be more focused on my face too. So this is what's going to happen now on. I know it's kind of like I look kind of like fucked up, you know, and I'm going to say sorry. Like you're going to see my face, bro. But yeah, this is like my cinematography camera so far, so like you have a better quality. Most cameras, like I'm going to use this more towards YouTube content, uh and then the webcam I'm going to mostly use that for like streaming and stuff like that, because I feel like what is the purpose of like streaming with my like really cool camera, you know what I mean? But nonetheless, I say going forward, it's going to be like really interesting content. I'm just going to just focus on like stories and stuff like that, and yeah, that'd be pretty much it, really. Also, I'm changing the name so far. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Really, that's like a little update towards like my channel right now, and like you know, in this upcoming week, I'm probably going to throw a video out, saying like, "Hey, yo, what's up? Watch this," or something like that. I don't know. It's up to you guys. Anyways, ciao.